Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks here to bring you your weekly flesh and blood market update. If you like the content, hit subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, hit the share button, because apparently that works the best. Yeah, join us in Discord. For now, we have a link in the description that should, I believe it's in the description, that should allow you to get into the Discord for a limited time for free. We've had quite a few people take us up on that, had some good conversations in there, particularly about flesh and blood markets. So come join us there if that is something you're interested in. Apologize for the lack of a Pokemon update. I was visiting family in Florida, so we missed this week. I did capture some data as of last night when I got back, but it is off kilter from the regular data. It will be in there. We'll just deal with it. It'll be a little fluctuation in our data. But for now, let's move into the flesh and blood markets. All right. So it's a pretty quiet week overall, actually. I thought it was more volatile than it ended up being just based on some price movements that I'd seen. But it ended up being relatively within our 5% variance. So let's start with Unlimited. The only thing worth really noting here is that ARK was down 4%, which we, whenever it's 4% to 5%, we highlight it, or bold it rather than highlight it. So down to 118. Pretty interesting that it did come back to what was a previous high. I don't know. We'll look at the charts to see exactly what this looks like, but I don't think this is a bad sign. I think it's actually pretty positive that we're holding. So we'll look at the charts and I'll talk through that part when we get there. Moving on to first edition, Everfest is down 5.77% to $49. It's been bouncing in this range for a while, so we're actually tightening up. It looks like our previous low is 42, so now we're at 49 as a low. We'll see next week. It could go lower. I mean, it's Everfest. There's a lot of supply out there. Some interesting news on that, and we'll jump into that in a second, but it looks like some potions are being bought out, something brought up in our Discord today. Glad to be able to share that information because it seems interesting, and I'll show you the sales in a second. Moving into the first edition cases, ARK has jumped up 5.77% to 5,499 from basically 5,200. Pretty good. I mean, we knew this was kind of a low price for these. I would say the same is true of these $1,000 boxes. But, markets are what they are and people need money, for holidays, etc. They're, getting rid of excess product that is probably, feels a little risky at this point. That does happen. Nothing really crazy there. Let's move on to Monarch, up 6.75%. I think that's just purely based off the fact that it was a crazy low. I think we even talked about how it'd be unlikely for that to hold just because of how low it is. But yeah, that is what it is. We're just seeing a reversion to the mean, so nothing too special there. Let's jump into the cards. Oops, wrong one. So basically for the cards, everything is essentially where we left it. Black Tech has popped up a little bit. Imagine there's probably some Arachne deck tech out there that's getting interesting. I heard about Regicide being used into, I guess, Royal Briar, which apparently is a thing, and I've heard Royal being thrown around a little bit more than before this Crown of Dominion, making someone royal. Apparently that gold coin is worth it, right? So in some cases, and no one was running Regicide before, but now we're seeing the counterplay where Regicide's being run a little bit. So metas shift and cards shift with them, so it's pretty interesting. But Black Tech is back up to $80. I think its low was like 72 or something like that. Nothing crazy low, but seeing it around this price is probably pretty healthy and makes sense for a new popular classes legendary. Surgical Extraction still holding high, so this is just, at this point, we can't really say this is I suppose it could still be a low print situation, but you can't say that it's like supply hasn't gotten to the market. Supply has gotten to the market, whatever supply there is. So maybe it was low printed, or maybe it wasn't low printed and it's just been high demand because it is a really good card. The other stuff has mostly stayed the same. $1,000 Emperor, 425. So this has dipped a little bit on Command and Conquer Marvel. The Angel and the equipment is about the same. I love that Azalea's 135 now. It's interesting that this popped before the Outsiders announcement or confirmation. Now, the one thing I'm not sure about, because I missed this, apparently the French podcast where they spoke about the Azalea was confirmed for Outsiders, which did happen. I just missed it. It probably happened before Outsiders was announced, so that's probably when we saw this price pop. If you know for sure, like when that podcast posted, let me know in the comments, because I would like to go back and compare to this price jump if it happened before the news was official or if it was in a reaction to the news being official. Because if it's before, it means someone found out early, right? And that's always interesting when you have that kind of early trade action. Crown of Dominion Marvel, like I said, it's starting to get used. So, but I think it's dipping in price because I think it was held a little high for a while there. Hanabi Blaster, obviously popular with Dash, Aggro Dash, very cool deck, very fun to play. But yeah, this is holding up as the highest of the regular equipment. I think everything else is dropping down to lowers, with Rock being a fun meme. I don't think it's playable. Correct me if I'm wrong. Shoot me a deck list. I'd love to try a Rock deck. That's good. So far, I haven't found one. I'm really having fun with Rhinar, so we were talking about that in the Discord too. The Construct is dipping a little bit. The Angel's dipping a little bit, but nothing too crazy. We'll see these continue to slide down. I imagine these three actually, because while they're the fancy collectible on the shelf type, you want to hold the art during the set. I feel over time they'll slip a little bit and we'll find a low probably around the beginning of the next set when Outsiders comes out, right? That seems very reasonable. All right, let's jump into these other things I wanted to talk about. Oh, that's a little too fast. All right, so Potion of Clarity and Ironsides actually as well. Both have been having these basically playable sets purchased again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Crazy, right? Very cheap, and you can get the cold foils for like $4, $3. So super good deal for a cold foil, especially if you consider that it seems like Alchemist is a thing that's coming. Now, is it coming in Outsiders? We don't know at this stage, but it is coming. They have basically officially put an Alchemist named in the lore. So it exists, and it will be, they're teasing it, right? So we will see it at some point. I actually am hoping now that we see Azalea, a new assassin, although it's probably Arachne. Now that the more I think about it, I feel like it's likely that it's Arachne. Azalea, assassin, Dash would be awesome. Maybe a new Dash, a new spin on Dash that helps with the construct side of it. Although that would be weird to have two Dashes that were different at the same time. Although we have two Dorintheas, right? Like, it's not impossible. And then the Alchemist. I think that would be a fun, interesting mix, hero mix coming in. Now the question is, do we think that makes sense from a hero cycling standpoint? We haven't retired enough heroes to put that many new heroes in, because a new Dash is new. Although I guess you could count them as the same because they use mostly the same pool, right? I'm not sure. There's a lot of factors and changes here. Very exciting because it's so different. We'll see what happens. I mean, Azalea and a new assassin or a same assassin, that alone is fun. That's going to be great. I can't wait to see how the draft works. But I imagine it's a new. So one side of me says it's a new assassin with a new mechanic that's very deals well with the draft experience. The other half of me says having an Arachne as a token makes sense as well, right? Even though it would be a token Arachne, maybe it has a slightly different ability. That would be weird so quickly. No, I don't know. I'm still torn. I go back and forth. The other day I was arguing that it was a totally different assassin. Then yesterday I was thinking, no, the token makes sense. Now I'm back to maybe it is a totally new assassin. I would love to have a new assassin. It would be great for them to set a precedent that a new class gets introduced and a second version of that class gets introduced shortly after that. But we have Dash and Data Doll, but I don't think it was like that big of an introduction. And we're down to one illusionist, right? So we don't really have that happening, and that took forever to get the second illusionist. So it's not like they rushed to get a second one out. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. Either way, Alchemist speculation seems to be happening. Or maybe people are just picking it up. I mean, 2 sets back, this is definitely the low, something I wanted to show you. You'll note this is the bottom. We'll go back. Yeah, this is the bottom, and it's an uptick since then. So 2 sets back does seem to be a real low. Now, these charts aren't reliable, but I think for a macro trend like this is probably fine. Other thing to point out, and this was also pointed out in the Discord, I had not seen it. TimeSnap is getting a buyout, and this is like, that's a buyout. That's, people are buying 35 copies of it, right? I don't know how else you describe that besides a buyout. So that's definitely happening, barely impacting the price at this point. I'm sure it will eventually if people continue to push on it. You can get some unlimited editions for pennies. Unlimited rainbow foils are at the $5 mark basically, and then first edition is in kind of the 10, and I think the cold foil, or not cold foil, rainbow foil first edition, is that what it is? Yeah, it's up in the 50s. So yeah, oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, $60. So there's almost none of these left. I have some of these from way back I bought because I wanted to get early rainbow foils and such. I thought it was a cool idea. So that will be fun. Anyways, moving on. Let's look at the charts. All right, there was not much to point out here as Unlimited didn't really have anything of note. You can see a convergence here on ARK, so we are seeing this volatility on the case price, the box price and the case price play out together. So the box is bouncing around as we've seen historically, whereas the case has stayed mostly stable, jumped up, and now it's slowly climbing again. So it does feel like we're reaching that parity point. We'll see. I mean, this is one of those things that's going to take months to play out, but we'll see what happens here. But I do feel that we're probably at this. This is the new area to watch. This is the mean that we'll be reverting to, either above or below, above, below, above, below, but basically tightening around this band here, right in this 115 area. So pretty cool. It's interesting to see an unlimited product do that. I think it's interesting. All right, Crew, what's happening here? All right, same thing as always, just floating along with a premium intact. Mon, we still have a quote unquote arbitrage opportunity of like $2, so not really worth it. But the fact that they're running at parity means we're getting to a new stage in this, right? You'll see, it was below, 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 and now we're tightening up between here. We'll see what happens here because this will help us know how to think about Tales of Aria and Everfest, which both were high supply products. Monarch will act a little differently because of the hype bubble it built into it, but at this point we should start seeing more normalized data around what happens as these things reduce amount of availability. It's not going to go away. We're going to have a long time of those three for, it's going to be there for quite some time for those three. They overprinted. It's pretty clear now, so don't expect any massive jumps or a step ladder like we see with ARK Unlimited. It's going to be a while. So very cool sets, but at the same time, yeah, it'll be a while. Tales of Aria, same thing we're seeing here. It did jump back into a price premium, but we've seen that before, so this is just the madness that is Tales of Aria Unlimited. And then Everfest, yeah, we don't have data on that. One of these days I'll remember that again. I used to be good at it, then I forgot every time. WTR First Edition, 9600. Boxes are, case divided by 4 is down at 2400. Again, we've talked about this arbitrage opportunity that isn't because it's WTR for first edition or alpha in case form. ARK, it did go up, by the way, which I thought was interesting. Let's go back real quick. Oh wait, was that not WTR? Oh, that was ARK. Yeah, that's right. ARK went up. Yeah, ARK jumped up a little bit, popped up to 54, which is pretty interesting. 5,000 was the bottom. Yeah, this is actually right around the time where I usually do a buy because it feels like we found the bottom and we're slow and steady climb out of it, right? In this case, I'm not going to. I do have a case of ARK and I don't need to buy another case. I also don't need to spend $5,500 when I'm trying to go to Egypt soon, so that's not going to happen. Pretty interesting though, and the premium is safely intact at this point. Let's go to Crew. Nothing much here. Pretty interesting how the boxes continue to drop and the cases are holding high. That case premium is key, and I think that's related to the cold foils and legendaries, right? Because getting a case of crew, you're more likely to hit the higher value things. That would be my guess. I don't see that as being shop related, but it could be. Mon, as we said, dropped off a cliff, coming back up. Slow curve here. This is a pretty nice buy time from just the shape of the chart, if you ask me, but at the same time, it is a highly overstocked thing. I might pick up some Mon First Edition. This is really good prices, and it would be kind of cool to have a couple cases just sitting around, because eventually it will run out, and I don't have a couple cases. I think I have one, so that might be worth doing. Tales of Aria. There is not much happening here. As always, First Edition is dropped back down from its 300 high down to 280s. Nothing crazy there. And then we're seeing this price parity reimagined or realized here. We've been crazy all over the place with this, though, so I still haven't seen this settle out at all to any sort of reasonable pattern. Everfest has been more reasonable, but mostly because of map. It looks like post-map dip. Stabilizing but still falling, not unusual in a macro environment like this. Uprising, let's see, we have, kind of settled. We popped off our low, this is pretty interesting. So this is our first 2.0 example, right? We have the map kind of hold, drop, fail, and then jump back up and slow decline, which if this is at all representative of distributor release, essentially, waves, then what you see is too much, ran out, okay, and then slow decline again, right? So basically, ran out, resupply, slow availability, people getting what they need basically slowly, and then overshooting it and putting it on the market, which is where you see this volatility. No price premium arbitrage opportunity is not great, I'm sure, because we've done this before. 79, yeah, $2, $2.50 per box. Pretty stable on the box prices. That's probably just because map. Yeah, that would be my guess. And then I did get Dynasty working, but this is why I didn't usually do Dynasty, because it's boring, right? It's map stuck, and this volatility is kind of unexpected, I'll be honest with you, because it should be at map, which I believe is 351. But we did drop below, which is why I decided I wanted to talk about these and do the charts. So we have them now, and we're looking at some lower than map pricing here. And no ARB, the premium's intact of 75 whole cents. Ooh, so exciting. Yeah, it's not very interesting. That's why I usually leave these off till later. But when I saw it drop, I was like, oh, we kind of have to talk about it because it's doing things. We need to see what it's doing. This is unexpected, but probably not so much in a macro environment where shops are getting their butts kicked and have to close and things like that, right? That's the thing. So anyways, if you like the content, please hit the subscribe button, share, leave a comment. I love interacting with you all, so I really do appreciate it. Also, check for the link to the Discord in the description. Join us there. We are having some fun conversations in the Fab General chat about markets this morning. We do have people from all over the world, which is great, and then we also have locals for us and our meta and what's going on there. But it's great to talk to people all around the world about what is happening in their local markets. It's a good time. So join us on the Discord. You have until the end of the year, which is only a few days away. So hopefully that will be something that you can do before the end of the year. If not, leave a comment. Maybe I can shoot you a direct link later if you miss it because you're traveling across the globe or doing something. Whatever, we're friendly. We can work it out. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you're out there cracking packs, enjoying the holiday season, playing good games. I got to play some awesome games with my sister while I was down in Florida visiting my grandmother. So that was fun. We played some Flesh and Blood. We played some Cryptic. It was good. It's good. Good to have games in the holiday season, I have to say. Anyways, I hope you're out there enjoying your games with your friends and family. And until next time, have a good one.